Yes, sir. As a daily commuter on the number 15 bus, I want to thank you for doing the right thing and reinstating service. And I want to just make a point to some that as people who use the bus and commute on the bus every day, it really is important to have the full duration of the schedule. If you're going to rely on the bus, some days you just can't get home at 7 o'clock. So I think really TriMet is doing the right thing by making the safety improvements and reinstating the full schedule of service. And I applaud you for that. Thank you. You also just be aware of the nifty tools, if you're not, that TriMet has. You can check our website for real-time schedules and arrival information, so it should, hopefully, the information on it should be easily and readily available. Yes, sir.
I certainly had my share of airtime, but I have one last thought that concerns me, and that is it, as you work your way through this 2-week, 2-month transition with some interesting and probably quite solvable issues, and I like where you're going. I think it's great. Could we have a little steering committee or something where we can have a couple of people from TriMet that we won't have to call you all the time, and a couple of 3 neighborhood people to
absolutely
communicate by email at the very least?
Yeah, that would be very happy to do that.
I think as you're doing that, my name is Lisa Selman. I live on Northwest Thurman. I work in planning. We bought 1 car, we bike, we walk, all modes of transportation, all supported with that. I do live on Thurman, and I have to tell you that not having the bus come by is actually a nice reprieve from it for a little bit.
Amen.
But I am fully supportive of the bus, but I do think it is an opportunity for TriMet to look at those hours of operation, and as you're talking about a steering committee, you need to make sure we're representing the whole interest of the neighborhood. And again, I am fully supportive of TriMet and the bus service and all modes of transportation in our neighborhood. And so I think, it's unfortunate that it wasn't communicated that service would stop. I'm half wondering if some of everything that's gone on the last couple of days could have been prevented if a 2-week notice, a month notice that service would change. But again, that bus does go by. I mean, I'm out in our neighborhood quite a bit, and that bus goes by and there's no one on it. So, and I understand people's concerns about having service, and I wouldn't want it discontinued, but I also think it is an opportunity to look at how could we better use the bus at certain times that people wouldn't be on there.
Yeah, I think it's a fair question. What I'd like to do is separate it from the restoration of service question and then come back and work with the neighborhood about what, we have tremendous ridership information. We know each stop, hours a day, when people are getting on and off. We come back and share that pattern with you. There's also a lot of anecdotal information we need to collect and talk to the neighbors and the users of the system about. So I think that needs to be a deliberate process that we walk through with the neighborhood, but happy to do that.
Right, but just know that there are neighbors that do support some modified.
I've heard from them too.
Yeah.
I'd just like to introduce myself. I'm Juliet Friends, and I'm representing the Neighborhood Association tonight, and I want to thank TriMet for being here and echo Bill's comments about looking out for safety and also restoring the service. I'd also like to tell you that this isn't the end of the discussion. I co-chair the Transportation Committee for the Neighborhood Association, one of the volunteer behind me, and we will continue to track this issue and discuss it, and we welcome your participation. We meet the first Wednesday of every month at 6 o'clock. Lately it's been over at Good Sam in the second floor conference room, but it's always listed inside the Northwest Examiner in that yellow thing, the activists in the middle. It's also on our website. There's a calendar that's easy to get to that will tell you what's going on, and information like what's going on with the number 15 bus is posted on our website. So please keep in touch with Bill and me. I can give you contact information. Jeremy and others in the room know me, and we'll keep tracking this. I appreciate your comment about the steering committee, but there might be, you might find what you're looking for with our committee, because we don't want to see redundant efforts, and so maybe we'll talk about that a little bit. Amy?
Hi, Jeanette. I called Where's the turnaround at?
PPS's.
It sounds like the school district should be part of this conversation. Some of they have buses that are doing the same kind of thing.
They've been making the exact same turn at the same.
How about, what I'll do is, tomorrow when I get to work, I'll call the Portland Public Schools and I'll ask them some questions about it, if you don't mind. And maybe let them know the concern we're having
Don't
right now.
cancel the school bus.
I had a bunch of kids call me wanting to cancel the school bus. I will call Portland Public School and let them know about some of the concerns going with TriMet right now. I have some close contacts there in their safety department.
Can I just respond to the liability issue that was brought up earlier? 20 years of walking dogs all around that area. The biggest liability is the bikes, who don't know the neighborhood coming racing down. And so if you can make sure there's something there, we don't want an accident like here where someone was killed. They did put in a stop sign, that's all it took. I haven't seen problems like that.
I mean, I completely agree with you that actually the lack of control of some of the bikers coming down is really scary sometimes.
The TriMet announcement for these changes, which I think is posted on this board back here, I think lists three things. First it lists the flagger, and then it lists the illuminated signs, and then it talks about alternative routes. So and you said earlier that there was no alternative route being considered, I think, so that seems to be a little bit different from the story.
Well,
So what is the...
what I heard from the neighborhood loud and clear
I'd like
is
to know how firm these plans are.
these are quite firm. So, that, you know, there is always the alternative of turning the bus one direction down here in this neck of the woods. I'm not proposing that. We're proposing to keep it running starting Monday, as we've described in this conversation. But if there's interest in alternative routes, we were ready to discuss it. But again, that's just really neighborhood preference right now.
But what does the future service options stand for? Yeah, you have a sign.
Well, again, that's just what I said about potential
Something underneath
changes.
that sign for us to look at?
Can I change it then? The message I want to send, I don't want to be confusing about it, but
Yeah, I can't hear you.
sorry.
Louder. No one can hear you back here.
Louder.
I'm sorry.
There's a fan running back there.
Okay. I think I've been as clear as I can about what our plans are starting Monday. I would just go ahead and reiterate that. If there's interest long-term in doing something different here, we're happy to talk about it, but I'm not proposing that we do.
With all due respect to all of you, you've been here for an hour, you've been on the griddle a little bit. I think you've done a great job. I think the future for TriMet is bright. I sort of opened this up, and we could go back to the thing that your colleagues thought we were going to do, which is to talk individually.
Yeah.
And I want to give Neil a chance to get off the hook and having done a wonderful job. Thank you.
I'd like to put in a plug for Friendly House to serve as our community center.
I appreciate it. Yeah, Steve was right. This could probably go on all night, and actually a lot of these questions are best answered by the experts that are up here, because I sometimes only pretend I know what I'm talking about. So I really do appreciate everybody coming and your interest in our service, and I again reiterate, ride the bus. After you all. Thank you very much.